Afternoon students, I am Radhika Deshmukh, Assistant Professor, Sri Shivaji College of Arts, Commerce and Science, Akola. I will teach you Condensed Matter Physics, paper 3rd of Solid State Physics. Under this paper, Condensed Matter Physics, I will teach you the first unit, that is band structure. This first unit, band structure, divided here into two parts, that is introduction and content. Before starting the unit band structure, I will introduce you the basic concept of that, and later on we have to see the content or which topics we have to study under this heading band structure. So in the introductory part, all of you know, as the level is band structure of our topic, we have to study what do you mean by band gaps, formation of band and band gaps in crystal. The content that we have to study under this heading is Cronin-Penney model, Bloch theorem, crystal momentum, band index and concept of effective mass, motion of electrons in bands, reduced periodic and zone schemes, construction of Fermi surfaces. And furthermore, again, under the same heading band structure, we have to study these topics also. Nearly free electron model, proof for origin of gap in periodic potential and perturbation theory, tight binding model, assumption and applications to SC, FCC and BCC structures. So before starting this unit, here in introductory part, we are going to study about the difference between conductor, insulator and semiconductors. All of you know that material or substances are classified depending upon the band gaps in between conductor, insulator and semiconductor. This conductor, insulator and semiconductor is to plot the available energies for electron in the materials. Instead of having discrete energy, as in the case of free atoms, the available energy state forming bands. Crucial to conduction process is whether or not there are electrons in the conduction band. In insulators, the electrons in the valence band are separated by large gap from the conduction band. In conductors like metals, the valence band overlaps the conduction band, and in semiconductor, there is a small enough gap between the valence and conduction band that thermal or other excitation can bridge the gap. With such a small gap, the presence of small percentage of doping material can increase. Now, in order to distinguish between conductor, semiconductor and insulator, here in this diagram, it is clear. In the first case, metal or conductor, it is observed that valence band, which is represented by red color, and conduction band, which is represented by violet color. All of you know, whenever there is a formation of crystal, then in crystal number of atoms together forming the crystal, and in that atom the outermost orbit contains the free electrons, that is valence band, and when electrons separated from that valence band and become free, then that is the conduction band. If valence band and conduction band, both bands are overlapped, then the electrons in valence band easily enter into the conduction band and free electrons are possible for conduction. So metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. But in case of semiconductor, in valence band and conduction band there is a small gap. This gap is called band gap, and electrons from valence band try to enter into conduction band but at a temperature greater than 0 Kelvin. It means at room temperature. Why semiconductor is called semiconductor? All of you know that at 0 degree, what happens? Semiconductor behaves as an insulator. Its valence band contains the electron, but conduction band is empty. And these electrons do not get sufficient energy to cross the gap and to enter into conduction band. But if we increase its temperature or if we give extra energy to that semiconductor material like germanium or silicon, that is intrinsic semiconductor, then electrons in valence band cross this gap and enter into the conduction band. Therefore, at room temperature, when these electrons cross the gap and enter in conduction band, free electrons are possible and therefore conduction is possible. So, germanium, silicon, these intrinsic semiconductor are insulator at 0 Kelvin but behaves as a conductor at room temperature. So, it is called semiconductor. Now, in the case of insulator, valence band and conduction band having a large gap between them. So, it is not possible for the electrons in valence band to cross the gap and to enter in conduction band. Therefore, no free electron present in conduction band and hence insulator behaves as insulator does not conduct electricity or heat. So, in this way here I try to explain what are conductors, insulator and semiconductor. In the case of conductors, in terms of the band theory of solids, metals are unique as good conductor of electricity. This can be seen to be a result of their valence electrons being essential free. In the band theory, this is depicted as an overlap of valence band and conduction band so that the least fraction of the valence electron can move through the material. In case of insulators, most of the solid substances are insulators, and in terms of the band theory of solids, this implies that there is a large forbidden gap between energies of valence electrons, an energy at which these electrons can move freely through the material, that is the conduction band. And in case of semiconductor, that is for intrinsic, semiconductors are of two types, intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic semiconductors means without doping, 100% pure, and extrinsic means containing doping, that is n-type, p-type semiconductor. For intrinsic semiconductor like germanium or silicon, these are the intrinsic semiconductor. The Fermi level is essentially halfway between the valence and conduction band. Although no conduction occurs at 0 Kelvin, already I explained. At 0 Kelvin, the semiconductor behaves as insulator. But at high temperature, a finite number of electrons can reach the conduction band and provide some current. In dope semiconductor means extrinsic semiconductor, extra energy levels are added. In this way, here in this diagram, we try to differentiate insulator, conductor and semiconductors. So, our topic is nothing but band structure. So, in this introductory part, we have seen only how bands are formed, how band gaps are formed, and how these band gaps are different in conductor, insulator and semiconductor. In conductor, what happened? There is overlapping of bands, no band gap. In insulator, large band gap, and in semiconductor, band gap will be, but it is not too much large as like that of what insulator. In the next lecture, we will start from Bloch theorem or that Cronin-Penney model. Thank you.